I think this is a real opportunity for us to catapult our community into a new era here.
Agreed.
And
Absolutely.
this, right? I mean, this, and combining that with all of the new business development activity throughout the city, a lot of the infrastructure improvements, of course. But I really believe this is a watershed moment here in the history of this city.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Meeting with the Manager. I'm City Manager Eric Tungate. On this month's show, I have the privilege and honor of being able to welcome in our very own Director of Recreation, Lori Stasiak, who will be talking about our state of affairs as it relates to our parks and recreation amenities throughout the city. Lori, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you,
Privilege
Eric.
to have you,
I
our
appreciate
resident
it.
expert.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. So let's dive right in. I want to go right into, what is the state of our parks and recreation amenities throughout the city, in your opinion?
Well, I'm really proud to say that we just opened up our new dog park in August at Lessinger Park. It's called the Oak Park and Bark. And 2 long years with the dog park committee. And we had community input, we had a community survey, and we opened up this dog park. And we have an area for special needs dogs, small dogs, and large dogs. And we're very proud that we have been able to open that up recently. Also, we have a very active and vibrant senior population. They use our facilities a lot for programs and services, and you see them out in the park a lot, walking, riding a bike, but they are looking at additional programming and additional amenities. We also have a growing maintenance issue with this pool that's just behind us. As you can, as we opened up late this year because of we didn't have a motor, and we had some issues with that. We've had issues in the past with our maintenance concerns here at the pool, but we hope to address that in the future. Also, we're looking at new kids and teen programming. We have a lot of new families that are coming in. We need to increase our programming for youth, teens, and just kids in general.
And I'm curious, you've been in this parks and recreation business for some time, and I really value your work history and your know-how and expertise. As you look at just the amenities offered across the board here in the city of Oak Park, really on a comparative basis, in your opinion, how do they compare to other cities in terms of what they offer and the condition of those amenities and so forth?
I know we try very hard to keep up with what we have, but really we're lacking in a lot of different areas. We're lacking in court space. The new craze right now is pickleball courts.
Right.
People have asked about the tennis courts. Basketball is very popular here. So we have courts that are needed, additional programming, additional space for those recreation programs. Right now, the community center is functioning, but we need more space. We need more area in order to program the different needs of the community. We have a farmer's market that's flourishing, but it's only 3 months out of the year. We'd like to run a farmer's market that encompasses more months and a bigger special event area. Right now, the community center is very small, and it doesn't meet the community needs.
Yeah. And so, I know you and your staff interact with the public, seniors, kids, not only through programs and things, but also just people walking into the community center or using the pool, let's say. And what do you hear them saying the most? And kind of, what are some of the things that they want to see the most?
I think, in the last year, we had the opportunity to hire a consultant, and they dove deeply into our amenities, our programs, and our services, and we're able to survey our community and find out what the wants and needs are. And because of that and what we're hearing, from people that come into our community center, we're hearing that they want an indoor pool, an indoor track. They want basketball courts or basketball courts that can be, have the lines for pickleball and volleyball and other court sports.
Absolutely.
They want a place to meet. Our seniors are growing rapidly.
Let's elevate Oak Park.
Our senior population. Currently in our community center, we offer board games. We offer Scrabble, Mahjong, Bidwiz, dominoes, chess, and those programs are growing, and the needs of the community are growing. And so that's what we're hearing is just we need more space.
And I know, we're hearing that regularly now, but we've also been hearing that for some time. And so one of the things that I want you to maybe weigh in on is, we went through a very comprehensive process to arrive at some of the amenities that are going to be featured on the ballot in November. And so can you talk a little bit about that process? And, there's a master plan rewrite process involved and all that, but can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Every 5 years, the DNR asks that you, in order to apply for grants, state grants, you must have a 5-year master plan. So our 5-year master plan was up this year. So we hired a consultant to come in and really do a thorough analysis of all our amenities, our parks, our facilities, our programs, and our services. And they surveyed the community. And from that, they found that there are certain areas that we're deficient in, certain area that our community wants more park amenities, more recreation programs. So each of the parks, they took a really deep dive into 6 what they called priority parks. So that would be Tyler, Best, Rothstein, Key, Shepherd Park, Dewey. And so they really took a really deep dive into those 6 priority parks and came up with a map of where things would be placed should we decide to improve on those 6 priority parks. So things like bathrooms, shelters with shade, benches, additional benches with shade, playground amenities.
Walking paths too.
I was going to say that. That's probably the number one thing people want is walking paths. To in their neighborhood parks, to take their dog for a walk, their children for a walk, just to walk through the park. Those are some of the things that we're hearing as far as the priority parks. We're also hearing that people want a community center, a place that the community can go to connect and socialize and to meet their recreational needs, swimming, walking, playing some basketball.
And year-round.
A year-round indoor facility, correct.
I was going to ask you to expand a little bit on the community center aspect of this whole plan, master plan rewrite. When we were going through this year-long plus process, did we go out and look at other community centers and just kind of get a sense of what other cities had and what ours could possibly be?
Oh, yes. We went out to Troy. We went out to Sterling Heights. We went out to went out to Macomb County, Farmington Hills. We took into consideration a little bit from everybody and what we've learned, from their model, and try to incorporate it into what we would like to see happen here in Oak Park.
I know we've even spent some time in Detroit looking at some of the Riverwalk amenities and the Quinter Cut and things like that
we did.
too. So very, very encouraging stuff. Okay, so I want to speak specifically now about Shepherd Park. Obviously, Shepherd Park is the crown jewel of our community. So we have a very significant agreement that we've struck with Oakland County Parks. So I want you to talk a little bit about some of the things that they're planning on doing in Shepherd Park and how that will benefit our residents.
Yeah, I feel so fortunate to be a part of that. We're partnering with Oakland County Parks on a 20-year lease agreement for them to come in and improve and revitalize and invest in a portion of Shepherd Park. So they're going to be looking at Shelter One, improving that, the bathroom facilities, the kitchen facilities there, walkways, the nature area, and improving that, as well as some nature education, nature interpretive type programs, as well as some playground equipment and amenities for children and families.
Mm-hmm. And just pivoting, kind of back to the ballot initiatives a little bit, the new community center possibility and some other improvements in all 6 of the parks, as you mentioned. So let's assume for a moment that our voters ratify the 2 proposals. How confident are you that we can do what we are saying we can do cost effectively, and of course, give our community the kinds of amenities that they've been asking for?
Very, very confident, because as you know, I've been here about 7 years now, and we've pretty much been relying on a shoestring budget, let's just say, and providing as much programming as the staff can. And we have a small staff, as you know, and providing as much programming and amenities that we can on that very sparse budget right now.
Right.
So I'm very confident, and we have some creative staff members on board, and I'm very confident that we can create more programs, improvement to our amenities, and really fulfill the needs of the community and of the new families and community members that we're seeing in our community.
Definitely.
Everybody comes from different areas, and they're already used to some of the recreation amenities that pretty much are on the ballot in November.
And I think comparing us, just you talked about a little bit about the shoestring budget, and just comparing us to some of the more the South Oakland communities more so. How do we compare? What we've talked about a little bit in the town halls that we've had, but how do we compare? What is our millage right now, and how does that compare to communities in South Oakland?
It's really interesting that you say that, because I was so amazed when we kind of did that comparison, and it came out, I think, to the administrative staff about a month ago, and it was very interesting. We are second to the last of 11 neighboring communities. That is so sad.
Yeah.
That we don't spend much money on recreation, parks and recreation in Oak Park.
Yeah, and I think we have 0.43 mils on the books, which equates to about $250,000 that we use for our entire 30,000 people for our entire parks and recreation budget is generated from that, and the rest, of course, are from programming fees and things like this. But it really is amazing. Director Stasiak, one of the things that I get asked all the time, of course, is, well, why is this our highest priority right now? So why aren't we focusing more on other things? And my answer to that would be, we are focusing on other things. We've, of course, put our primary focus on public safety services. But I wanted to ask you the same question in terms of, well, why are, at this point and this juncture in our city's, rematuration, let's call it, why are parks and recreation the highest priority for us right now? And why is this the missing ingredient enough for us to come and ask our taxpayers to fund 2 millages?
I believe Parks and Recreation is the heart of any community. Through recreation spaces and areas, one way to look at it is that it benefits the physical, mental, and social connections in our community members. Whether you see a person walk a dog in the park, play a game of basketball, or go for a swim, or they're out in Shepherd Park with family and friends at a picnic. It's their own unique way of recreating and how it benefits them. And the parks are a great need in any community. It also, for any homeowner that lives close to a park, homeowners value park amenities. So because of this, if you live close to a park space, more than likely your property values will go up if
Definitely.
you live next to any open recreation space.
I wanted to just say too, there something you just said, which is absolutely true. There is a direct correlation between investments in parks and recreation amenities and infrastructure and improving home values. And we've seen this in the 9 Mile linear park project,
Mhm.
where we can statistically show dramatic increases in taxable values down there, as due in large part to our investments that we've made down there with the 9 Mile linear park and the two connector parks, and of course the two pocket parks and then one connector park. And I think we are entering into a new era where we're seeing the value of these kinds of amenities and what they can do to cities. I always harken back to Campus Martius Park in downtown Detroit and the impact that has had, as now our 2 or 3 years in a row of being the #1 park in America, USA Today readers, and the investment that has occurred around that park and the kind of activity that park has generated unto itself, a very small geographic footprint too, mind you. And I think we are a bedroom community. We are a community where our residents want to do activities on the weekends and after 5. And I think this is something that I feel very strongly that we owe our residents, and we need to commit ourselves to making these improvements.
Absolutely.
So I really appreciate that, your opinion on that.
Absolutely. And I just want to add that not only does Shepherd Park is a crown jewel of the residents from Oak Park, but surrounding communities. We have several residents that come in from Southfield, Berkeley, Detroit, Ferndale, that utilize Shepherd Park and our programs and services.
Yeah, absolutely. Oak Park wide, I feel that we have taken a back seat to many communities around us for many years now. And that is no longer necessary. There's no reason why our community needs to take a backseat, whether it's with the services that we provide or the amenities that we provide. And I think this is a real opportunity for us to catapult our community into a new era here.
Agreed.
And
Absolutely.
this, right? I mean, this, and combining that with all of the new business development activity throughout the city, a lot of the infrastructure improvements, of course. But I really believe this is a watershed moment here in the history of this city.